Welcome back to the Revenge Chronicles, the place where real stories of betrayal, heartbreak, and shocking revenge come to life. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because you don't want to miss what happens next in today's story. Now, listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you is something I never imagined could happen in my own family. I never thought I'd be the villain in my own home, at least that's how my stepdaughter Claire made me feel. But before you judge me, tell me honestly. If someone tried to ruin your marriage, would you sit back and let it happen, or would you fight back, even if it meant breaking their heart? Because that's exactly the impossible choice I faced when my husband's daughter tried to tear us apart, and I had to decide how far I'd go to protect what was mine. When I met David, he was the kind of man who made you believe in second chances. I was 34, divorced, and not really looking for love, just trying to rebuild my life after years of loneliness. He was 40, kind, funny, a little reserved, but there was this steadiness about him that felt safe. He had a teenage daughter, Claire, who was 15 at the time. I didn't think much about it when we started dating. He told me Claire lived mostly with her mom, Rebecca, but visited every other weekend. I thought it would be easy, naive of me, really. I didn't realize how hard it would be to love a man whose heart was still partially tied to someone else through a child who wasn't mine. When David and I got serious, he introduced me to Claire. She was polite at first, but distant. That cold, teenage kind of polite that tells you you'll never be good enough. I tried so hard to bond with her. Bought her little gifts, remembered her favorite music, even baked the cupcakes she liked when she came over. She'd smile, say thank you, and then retreat into her room. I thought she just needed time. I thought love could soften her edges. I was so wrong. After David and I got married, things shifted. Claire's visits became tense. She would roll her eyes when I spoke, mock how I organized the kitchen, complain about how I took over everything. One night after dinner, she said, "You're not my mom, you know. You can stop pretending." I remember forcing a smile and saying, "I'm not trying to be. I just want us to get along." But inside it hurt. I told David about it, but he brushed it off. "She's a teenager," he said. "She'll grow out of it." Except she didn't. She grew worse. Over the next year, little things started going wrong, and always in ways that made me look bad. A piece of jewelry I left on the bathroom counter went missing, only to turn up weeks later in Claire's backpack. My favorite vase accidentally broke when she was dusting. One night, I found her snooping through my laptop, and when I confronted her, she smirked and said, "You don't trust me? Guess you don't belong in this family if you can't trust people." I started to notice that David was changing too. He'd come home from work quieter, distracted, and whenever Claire visited, he seemed tense, defensive, like he was stuck between us. Then one night, I overheard something that shattered me. Claire and David were in the living room, and I was upstairs folding laundry when I heard her say, "Dad, I don't think Emily really loves you. She told Mom you're just her second choice." I froze. It wasn't true. I had never even spoken to Rebecca, but I could hear David's voice drop, filled with disbelief. "What are you talking about?" Claire sighed. "I saw the messages on her phone. She's been texting someone. I didn't want to tell you, but I think she's cheating." My heart stopped. I rushed downstairs, phone in hand, and demanded, "What are you telling him, Claire?" She played innocent, her eyes wide. "I was just being honest. I thought he should know." I handed David my phone. "Check it. Go through everything." He did. And of course he found nothing. But the damage was done. The seed was planted. I could see it in his eyes, a shadow of doubt that hadn't been there before. After that, everything between us grew strained. He started questioning where I was going, who I was texting, why I came home late from work. Claire would drop little comments that only deepened the wedge. "Dad, did you know she still talks to her ex?" Or, "I saw her car at the cafe near where that guy works." It was all lies, but when someone you love starts to believe those lies, it feels like dying slowly from the inside. I tried talking to David, but he just said, "She's my daughter, Emily. I can't just ignore her." I told him I understood, but deep down I was breaking. I started to question everything, my worth, my marriage, even my sanity. I'd lie awake at night replaying every conversation, wondering how this 15-year-old girl had managed to twist everything. And then one day I found my proof. It was a Sunday afternoon. Claire had gone out with friends, and I was cleaning her room, just trying to keep the house in order. On her desk was her iPad, and I noticed the screen light up with a message. Normally, I wouldn't snoop, I hated the idea, but my gut told me to look. And what I saw made my blood run cold. It was a text from her mom, Rebecca. "She's falling for it. Keep planting the doubt. He'll see who she really is soon." Then Claire replied, "It's working. He's already questioning her. Once he's mad enough, maybe he'll leave her and come back home." I had to sit down. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the tablet. It wasn't just Claire, her mother was behind it. They were both trying to break up my marriage. Suddenly everything made sense. The lies, the manipulation, the perfect timing of it all. They wanted David back. Rebecca couldn't stand seeing her ex move on, and Claire, she just wanted her family whole again, even if it meant destroying mine. That night I didn't say a word. I acted normal. But inside I was already planning. I knew if I confronted them too soon they'd twist it again. I needed evidence, undeniable proof. So over the next few weeks, I played the part of the oblivious wife. I smiled, cooked dinners, even thanked Claire for helping with chores. Meanwhile, I started backing up her messages using the iCloud sync that was still connected to her dad's account. She never knew. Every time she texted her mom, I saved screenshots. Every cruel word, every lie, every plan to manipulate David, I documented it all. And as I watched it unfold, I felt this mixture of heartbreak and clarity. They weren't just trying to hurt me. They were using the person I loved most as a weapon. That realization burned through me like fire. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to imagine being in my shoes. The person you love most, your husband, is slowly turning against you because of lies told by his own daughter. You finally discover the truth, but you know that exposing it could destroy their relationship forever. So tell me, what would you do? Would you protect your marriage at all costs, or would you walk away to save the man you love from the pain of betrayal? Because I had to make that choice, and it tore me apart. I decided to tell David, but not right away. I waited until the perfect moment. It was a Friday night, and Claire was supposed to spend the weekend with her mom. After she left, I sat David down at the kitchen table. I remember how calm my voice sounded, even though my heart was racing. I said, "There's something I need to show you. And before you react, I need you to read every word." He looked confused as I slid my laptop across the table. On the screen were the screenshots, dozens of them, with dates, timestamps, and full conversations. I watched his expression shift from curiosity to disbelief to horror. He kept scrolling, reading the texts between Claire and Rebecca, the lies, the manipulation, the plan to make him doubt me. At one point, he covered his mouth and whispered, "Oh my God." When he finally looked up, his eyes were wet. "Emily, I can't believe this," I said quietly. "You needed to see it. I didn't want to hurt you, but you deserve to know the truth." He sat there for a long time, silent. Then he said something I'll never forget. "I let them poison me against you. I'm so sorry." And in that moment, I saw the man I fell in love with again, but also a broken father realizing what his daughter had done. The next day, he called Claire over. I stayed in the other room listening. His voice was calm but firm. "Claire, I know everything. The messages. The lies. The things you told me about Emily." There was silence for a moment, then the sound of Claire crying. "I just wanted you to come home," she sobbed. "Mom said you still loved her." David's voice cracked when he said, "That's not love, Claire. That's manipulation. You hurt someone who did nothing but try to love you." Claire ran upstairs and locked herself in her room. Later, she came out, her eyes red, and said softly, "I'm sorry. I wanted to hate her, but seeing her like that, small, broken, I couldn't. She was just a kid caught in her mother's bitterness." David confronted Rebecca next. I didn't go with him, but when he came back, he looked exhausted. "It's over," he said simply. "I told her to stay out of our lives." For weeks after that, things were quiet. Claire barely spoke to either of us, but slowly, painfully, we started rebuilding. It wasn't easy. Trust doesn't heal overnight. Sometimes when David hugged me, I'd still feel a flicker of doubt, a shadow of what had been. Months passed and Claire began to change. Therapy helped. She apologized again, this time with tears and no excuses. One night, she said, "You didn't deserve any of it. You tried to love me, and I made it impossible." I hugged her then, not because she earned forgiveness, but because I needed to let go of the anger. I told her, "We can't undo what happened, but we can start over if you mean it." And she did. Slowly, she started showing kindness. Small things like helping me cook or asking about my day. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. David and I grew stronger too. The storm had nearly destroyed us, but somehow surviving it made us more real, more grounded. Sometimes I still think about that version of me, the one who almost lost everything because of lies. I think about how easy it is for love to crumble when trust is stolen. But I also think about strength, about fighting for what's worth keeping, even when it hurts. So, was I wrong for digging into Claire's messages? Maybe. But if I hadn't, my marriage would have died on a lie. I didn't do it out of revenge. I did it out of love, to save something that still mattered. If you were me, what would you have done? Would you have exposed them or just walked away? Because I chose the truth. And it cost me, but it also set me free. Like this video if you were on my side, and subscribe for more stories like this one. And please, share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think forgiveness was the right choice, or should I have walked away for good? I'll see you all in the next story.